Okay, good morning, everybody. On behalf of Ravindra Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, I welcome you all to today's August gathering. And I'm requesting all of you, please close your hands for the invocation prayer. Oh, Shahano Gunakatu Shahubirjam Karo Bhavai Teyasina Tamastu Ma Vidvishabhai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now I am requesting Varsha Chatterjee. Please welcome the August gathering. Now
Good
open.
morning, everyone. Uh, with the blessings of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, I, Varsha Chatterjee, former academic assistant of RPIT, currently doing my PhD on Ravindric value orientation with under the guidance of Dr. Devdulal Dottarasa. I warmly welcome to all of you to the 109th Sunday webinar organized by Ravindric Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust. The trust is registered academic trust by the Indian Trust Act and possesses Darpan ID of Niti Aayog. Today's focal theme is Architecting Vikshit Bharat, a vision that connects education, empowerment, and national growth. We are honored to have respected academicians and dignitaries with us today. I extend my heartfelt greetings to the invited speaker, Dr. Rituparna Vashak Dasgupta Madam, Professor Poonam Agarwal, invited chairperson, and Professor Navratnam Sharma, invited co-chairperson, and distinguished guests. I would like to welcome Srimati Shyamastri Shur Madam for inaugurational song. Now I welcome Founder President Sir Dr. Devdulal Dattaray for welcome speech. Sir, the stage is yours.
Okay. Good morning to all the distinguished academicians, researchers, students, and participants joining us today. On behalf of the Ravindric Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the 109th Sunday webinar of our institute. It is truly encouraging to see such a vibrant academic gathering committed to dialogue, knowledge, sharing, and value-based social development. Today's focal theme, Architecting Vikshit Bharat, is both timely and visionary. As India moves towards the aspiration of becoming a developed nation by 2047, it becomes essential for educators, psychologists, and policy thinkers to reflect on how knowledge, values, and social consciousness can contribute to this national journey. We are deeply honored to have with us Professor Poonam Agrawal, former head of the Department of Gender Studies at NCERT, New Delhi, who has kindly agreed to chair today's session. Her contributions to gender studies and educational thought have inspired many scholars and practitioners across the country. We are equally privileged to welcome our co-chairperson, Professor Navratan Sharma, former Dean of Academic Affairs at Mahasi Dayanand University, whose vast academic experience and leadership in higher education and great value to our discussion today. Our special speaker for this webinar is Dr. Rituparna Basak Dasgupta, Associate Professor at Siliguri B.Ed College. She will be speaking on the topic Architecting the Path for Women Education and Empowerment, Policy Mapping to Achieve Vikshit Bharat 2047. Women's education and empowerment remain central pillars of national development, and we are eager to hear her insights on how policy frameworks and educational initiatives can shape an inclusive and progressive future. At RPRIT, our Sunday webinars have always been an intellectual platform where psychology, education, culture, and values intersect. Inspired by the philosophy of Rabindranath thought, we believe that true development is not merely economic growth, but the awakening of human consciousness, ethical responsibility, and collective well-being. I sincerely thank all the participants who have joined us today from different parts of the country. Your presence reflects a shared commitment to academic dialogue and social transformation. With these few words, I warmly welcome our chairperson, co-chairperson, speaker, and all participants to this enriching session. I hope today's discussion will inspire new perspectives and meaningful contributions toward building a Vikshit Bharat grounded in knowledge, equity, and human values. Thank you and wish you all a very engaging webinar.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful speech. It was really a great for inner growth for everyone. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to request to Farah Madam, who is the specifically the program coordinator and academic. I just wanted to tell her to please tell something to us regarding the academic activities of RPRIT.
Thank you, Varsha. Um, Good morning, everyone. Let me share my PPT. Okay, so I start with the Rabindranath symbolic logo meaning. Rabindranath psychotherapy. Rabindranath psychotherapy, a transformative process designed for self-awakening in the treatment of psychological disorders and mental distress. It is developed by the esteemed president of our institute, Dr. Devdulal Datta Roy, based on his prolonged research and treatment cum counseling of his patients. Rabindranath psychotherapy draws inspiration from the creations of the great Rabindranath Tagore. It revolves around the use of therapeutic postulates, which are fundamental assumptions forming the basis of the theory. One key aspect of this psychotherapy is the avoidance of labeling. Instead, it encourages understanding others' consciousness. In Rabindranath psychotherapy, consciousness is envisioned in three layers. The Mudra layer, portrayed in gray, serves as a seat of serves as a seat of attention, sensation, and perception. Moving to the rag layer in the middle, we find the domain of feelings, emotions, memory, thinking, and their interconnected association. This layer is vibrant and diverse, reflecting the colorful flows within consciousness. Finally, the innermost layer, portrayed in white, represent harmony with surrounding aesthetics and the path to creativity and innovation. This unique approach offers a profound understanding of the self and others. Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust logo is a symbol representing the transformative power of self-awareness. Tamsoma Jyotikamaya means exploring the truth by removing the error, which is psychometric approach. This is RPIT profile. Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust was established on 1st July 2018. RPIT carries out researches in academic field and to promote the study and dissemination of knowledge of Rabindic psychotherapy. Research-based teaching is a philosophy of Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust. RPIT created syllabus based on students' need. RPIT is functioning as pan-India. Indians from different parts of the country join RPIT courses every year. Both internal and external faculties are teaching here. The trust has more than 500 students. RPIT launches offline study center at Sri Ram Grand City, Grand 1 nearby Kon Nagar rail station, and RPIT has received its GST number also. The Academic Council of Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust plays an important role in academic activities and research. The council is comprised of chairman, secretary, and members having more than 10 years teaching and administrative experiences. General body members include Dr. Devdula Dattaroy, President, Ms. Sudipta Majumdar, Secretary and Treasurer, Dr. Rama Manna, Dr. Suprita Basak, Dr. Sudhanshu Khatwa. Members are Dr. Devdula Dattaroy, Dr. Ritupurna Basak, Dr. Sunil Nath, Dr. Praditya Biswas, Dr. Sushmita Mukhopadhyay, Dr. Ishita Chatterjee, Dr. Subrata Saha. Before moving ahead, I would like to briefly introduce our president, Dr. Devdilal Dattaroy. He is a psychologist and academician whose work spans psychology, statistics, and data science, with a strong focus on integrating quantitative methods into behavioral research. He has served as the head of the Psychology Research Unit at the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, where he contributed significantly to interdisciplinary research combining psychology with statistical analysis. His work focuses on areas like psychometrics, rank based data analysis, and the application of AI and data science in social science research. He has also authored books on statistics and R programming, aiming to make analytical tools accessible to students and researchers. He is also the founder of RPIT, where he is developing the framework of Rabindic psychotherapy by integrating Tagore's philosophical ideas with modern psychological science. His continuous efforts in AI integrated research and training are reflected in the programs we are offering today. Academic achievements of RPIT 2025. In 2025, RPIT successfully conducted 7 academic skill development and training programs with a total of 44 students enrolled. These programs focused on behavioral economics, machine learning and psychology, data science and social science, data analysis for policy research using base R script, foundation of school psychology, 60 hours online training on fundamental statistics with R script and Jamovi, with mentorship support provided by 3 mentors, a 4 months online certificate course on introduction to parenting for early childhood, and a 6 months online training on foundation of applied psychometrics using Jamovi and RStudio. In 2025, RPIT conducted 4 research internship programs for undergraduate and postgraduate students, supported by a structured paid internship. A research internship in career counseling was offered to ICFAI University, Tripura, with 38 students enrolled, guided by 3 mentors. The rank based data science using Excel internship was conducted and separately for Maharaja Manindra Chandra College as a 60-hour program. 8 students enrolled, supported by 1 mentor, and for Haldia Institution as a 120-hour program. 38 students enrolled, supported by 3 mentors. In addition, a paid research internship in industrial safety psychology was offered to postgraduate students with a psychology background with 3 interns enrolled. With a total of 131 students enrolled in 2025, 100 technical reports submitted by students, including 4 anecdotal reports and support for 3 projects on data analysis and PhD research. RPIT continues to foster research and academic excellence. As a registered vendor of Tata Power, RPIT has developed a research collaboration involving the creation of the safety consciousness scale and the conduct of psychometric assessments for the worker classification with respect to safety consciousness for Haldia, Jojobera, TPNODL, and PPGCL, with 2 assessment reports submitted. RPIT psychometric safety training approach emphasizes worker categorization cost-effective training, and safety culture development, and has been successfully implemented in Haldia, West Bengal, and Jharkhand, with participation from more than 1,000 workers across Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tripura, and West Bengal. RPIT also published paper in 2025, including Effectiveness of Rabindic Value in Addressing Perfectionism, SPJP, Journal of Multidisciplinary Sciences, Musical Aptitude and Cognitive Growth, a culturally rooted assessment framework based on Rabindra Sangeet, in International Journal of Music and Performing Arts. Revisiting rank based data in social sciences, insights from percentile information in updates, and value performance among adolescents, a study of path and goal oriented Rabindic values in mind and society. Recent achievement by RPIT on 5th of February 2026, Dr. Devtula Dattaroy, President of Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, was invited as a resource person to deliver a 2-hour lecture at Alia University, Kolkata, organized by the Student Counseling Committee. The lecture focused on Rabindic psychotherapy and stress management, during which Dr. Devtula Dattaroy elaborated on the 5 core theories of Rabindic psychotherapy, supported by relevant case studies. The session provided students with conceptual clarity and applied insights into consciousness based therapeutic approaches. Recognition of his academic contribution and scholarly engagement, Dr. Deeptila Dattaroy was formally honored by Alia University. This event marks a significant academic achievement for RPIT and reflects its continued contribution to higher education and psychological discourse. We are also proud to share that our president was recently invited as a speaker at Rabindra Bharati University for a staff training program on ethics and commitment in workplace. In his session, he highlighted how AI meditated staff training can reduce perceived environmental uncertainty and emphasized that artificial intelligence should be used not only as a tool but also as a means for generating and expanding ideas. This reflects his continued efforts in integrating AI into academic and training contexts, which is also central to the work we are doing at RPIT. We are sincerely appreciate his contribution and leadership in this direction. At Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, we are focusing strongly on building research competency, especially for those who are preparing for PhD and academic careers. This program is a 3-month AI-enabled research training internship where we emphasizes rank-based data analysis using Jamovi, which is a free and open statistical software. This uniqueness, the uniqueness of this program is that it integrated an artificial intelligence at every stage, from literature review and research design to data collection and analysis. We are not only teaching methods but also helping participants developing the ability to interpret findings and write academically, which is often a major gap in early research training. The program is designed for PhD aspirants, postgraduate students, research interns, and early career faculty, with very limited seats to ensure personalized guidance. By the end of the program, participants are expected to become confident in handling research in a structured, analytical, and publication oriented manner. Registration are now open and we welcome interested participants to join the program. These are the glimpses of our RPIT newsletter, through which we regularly share our academic activities and achievement. It helps us document our work and disseminate knowledge to a wider academic community. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Farah Madam, for your
Yeah.
speech. Now, the moment came when we entered a soulful musical segment of Rabindra Sangeet. To begin, I warmly invite Shyamashree Madam and Rima Mukhopadhyay Madam to present her song, and after that, we will have another beautiful performance. I would like to request Shyamashree Madam to start her sweet Ravindra Sangeet. Welcome, Shyamashree ma'am. Now the stage is absolutely yours.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm starting. সংকোচের বিহ্বলতা নিজেরে অপমান সংকটের কল্পনাতে হয়েও না ম্রিয়মান আ আ সংকোচের বিহ্বলতা নিজেরে অপমান সংকটের কল্পনাতে হইও না ম্রিয়মান। আ আ মুক্ত কর ভয়, আপনা মাঝে শক্তি ধর, নিজের কর জয়। মুক্ত কর ভয়, আপনা মাঝে শক্তি ধর, নিজের কর জয়। আ আ সংকোচের বিহ্বলতা, নিজেরে অপমান। সংকটের কল্পনাতে হইও না ম্রিয়মান। আ আ দুর্বলের রক্ষা কর, দুর্জনের হানো, নিজের দিন নিঃসহায় যেন কভু না জানো। দুর্বলের রক্ষা কর, দুর্জনের হানো, নিজের দিন নিঃসহায় যেন কভু না জানো। মুক্ত কর ভয়, নিজের পরে করিতে ভর, না রেখো সংশয়। মুক্ত কর ভয়, নিজের পরে করিতে ভর, না রেখো সংশয়। আ আ সংকোচের বিহ্বলতা, নিজের অপমান। সংকটের কল্পনাতে হইও না ম্রিয়মান। আ আ ধর্ম যবে শঙ্খ রবে করিবে আহ্বান, নীরব হয়ে নম্র হয়ে পণ করিও প্রাণ। ধর্ম যবে শঙ্খ রবে করিবে আহ্বান, নীরব হয়ে নম্র হয়ে পণ করিও প্রাণ। মুক্ত কর ভয়, দুরূহ কাজে নিজের দিও কঠিন পরিচয়। মুক্ত কর ভয়, দুরূহ কাজে নিজের দিও কঠিন পরিচয়। আ আ সংকোচের বিহ্বলতা, নিজের অপমান। সংকটের কল্পনাতে হইও না ম্রিয়মান। আ আ নমস্কার and thank you.
Thank you, Shamasri.
Thank you.
Here I like to add that Shamasri Shur is assistant professor and head of the Department of Education at Siddhinath Mahavidyalaya. It's a government-aided institution through the West Bengal College Service Commission. Now she is our student for the course Applied Psychometrics in RPRIT. Now over to Barsha.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, madam, for a such graceful and heartfelt performance. Now let us continue this beautiful musical journey with another melodious renditions by Rima Mukhopadhyay, madam. Madam, please start.
Hello, Rima.
হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ, হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ। সংসারে সব কাজ ধ্যানে জ্ঞানে হৃদয়ে রহ, হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ। নাথ তুমি এসো ধীরে, সুখ দুঃখ হাসি নয়ন নীরে। নাথ তুমি এসো ধীরে, সুখ দুঃখ হাসি নয়ন নীরে। লহু আমার জীবন ঘিরে। সংসারে সব কাজ ধ্যানে জ্ঞানে হৃদয়ে রহ, হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ, হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ।
Thank you, Rima. Here I like to add that Rima Mukhopadhyay. She is our student for the course of Applied Psychometrics. She has completed MAd with Special Education from Utkal University. At present, she is the research scholar.
Thank you,
We
sir.
are very
Thank
much
you, everybody.
fortunate that Rima, despite of her other schedule, and she has managed time for us. Thank you, Rima. Now over to Barsha.
Thank you, Rima madam. It was really a graceful, and your voice is very, very sweet. I was just, I just nothing want to say. Now, I want to add something, which is now I would like to request President Sir to start technical session.
Okay, thank you, Barsha. So I am very much privileged to introduce Professor Poonam Agrawal. Professor Poonam Agrawal is a senior academician associated with the National Council of Educational Research and Training in India. She has extensive experience in educational research, curriculum development, and policy planning with a background in nutrition, biochemistry, and biotechnology. She has contributed significantly to interdisciplinary research and academic leadership in education and vocational studies. She headed Department of Women's Gender Studies for more than 8 years and Department of Educational Research and Policy Perspectives for 3 years in NCRT. We are very much fortunate that she has arranged time for us in this program. Now I like to introduce my dear friend, Professor Navratan Sharma. Professor Navratan Sharma is a distinguished academician in the field of psychology with more than 42 years of teaching and research experience. He holds MA in psychology, PhD, and PG DGC, and has served in several important academic administrative positions in Maharshi Dayanand University, including Dean of Academic Affairs, Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, and Dean of the Faculty of Education. He has supervised 36 PhD scholars and continues to guide research in the field. Professor Sharma has published 13 books and 227 research papers and has been serving as the chief editor of the Journal of Indian Health Psychology since 2006. His major research areas include personality, applied positive health, and counseling psychology. He has received 11 academic recognitions and has actively participated in more than 180 conferences, seminars, and workshops. He has also played a significant role in academic development as head of the department and as deputy coordinator of the UGC Departmental Research Support Scheme for about 15 years. Now I am introducing my colleague, Dr. Rituparna Bashak Dasgupta, Madam. She is Associate Professor of English, Siliguri B.Ed College, and has more than 28 years of teaching experience. She is the Secretary of the Academic Council of RPRIT. She has done her Master's in English Literature from North Bengal University, Master's in Education from NSOU, MAd from IGNOU, and her PhD in English Literature from Vishwabharati University. Her research area of interest includes Indian writing in English, Bengali literature, women and gender studies, philosophical and sociological basis of education, and educational philosophy. She has participated and presented papers in a number of national and international seminars and published considerable number of papers in reputed volumes and journals. She has completed 2 projects sponsored by UGC and ICSSR, recipient of Robindra Gyanotirtha by Tagore Research Institute, Kolkata, and PK Subbaraja Best Performance Award by INSPA. She has edited 3 volumes on peace and value education, yoga and environmental education for holistic living, and emerging trends in education and culture. At present, she is also working as the IQAC coordinator of Shiliguri B.Ed College. Now over to Barsha. Hello, Barsha. Okay. So I am requesting Professor Poonam Agrawal to say a few words.
Sir,
Hello.
I propose that first let the speaker
Acha, okay.
her
So
views and
because you are the chairperson, so you will chair the technical session.
yeah, fine, but I think that it's appropriate for the chairperson to speak in the last after the speaker has put her views,
Okay.
or as you say, but
This is okay. Okay, madam. So now I am requesting Professor Rituparna Basak Dasgupta, madam, to start the speech.
Good morning to all of you. Respected President Sir of Rabindranath Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, Dr. Devdula Dottoroy, the chairpersons for this session, Professor Poonam Agarwal ma'am and Professor Navratan Sharma sir, all the other office bearers of Rabindranath Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, and the dear participants. Myself, Rituparna, wants to share some of my thoughts on this topic. So, sir, can I share? Have you given me the share option for my PPT?
Yes, you can share.
Uh, let me just check it once. Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So let's start from here. And I'm just checking whether sometimes due to the network issues, the slides, if I change the slides, it is not seen. So in that case, please tell me. Then I'll go back to the cage form. And I don't know whether everybody is aware of the fact that right now, due to the heavy snowfall in both in Sikkim and Darjeeling, the entire North Bengal is suffering from heavy rainfall, thunderstorms. So network issues are there. So I don't want to just get disturbed in between. So whenever my network stability will go down, I'll just put my video on an off mode and then I'll come back if the situation improves. So please bear with that. So right now I'm just pausing my video. So the title of my this morning's presentation is Architecting the Path for Women Education and Empowerment, Policy Mapping to Reach Vikshit Bharat @ 2047. So let's start. Sir, I have changed the slide. Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
The second slide, dialectics of education and power. Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, as India enters the Amrit Kal, the national vision for Vikshit Bharat necessitates a paradigm shift from actually women's development to women-led development, from women empowerment to women-led empowerment. However, a developed nation is defined not just by its GDP, rather by its dignity index. So, in this presentation, uh, I have tried to show that Vikshit Bharat is not just a destination of GDP, it is a destination of dignity that starts with woman and ends with the human. The National Education Policy 2020 that provides the essential policy scaffolding for that, and the empowerment of women in the true sense or empowerment led by the women will provide then the soul of this. Education is not merely a transfer of knowledge, but rather the fundamental software of empowerment. And without the women-led development, that is moving from women being the beneficiaries of development to women being the leader or the harbinger of the, or an active participants or creator of the agency of development, the vision of a developed India is impossible to achieve. So now, the achieving 50% of female labor force participation and leadership in deep technological sectors, that is also another our vision. Now, why this women-led development? We are talking about women, the development led by women or empowerment led by women. This why? It will help us if we look back where we were. So I have tried here to just to have a chronological or historical perspective, because without history we cannot proceed. And so if we look, so in the timeline, if we look at the ancient time, ancient Vedic time, so the status was women enjoyed the very high status, equal access to spiritual and intellectual learning. We all have read about it in our history books. We have the Brahmavadinis, like the Gargi, who is known for her debates with her male counterparts, and Maitreyi, who chose knowledge over wealth, and then lots of early Vedic, these Brahmavadinis, or the very educated women like Gargi, Lopamudra, Ghosha, Opala, and to name a few. And they not only studied the Vedas and the Brahma Vidya, but they used to teach other women also. Then gradually, from the later Vedic age and towards the Middle Age, we find a decline in this status. And so more regressive forms we have seen in the form of the sati pratha, then parda, and even the domestic, then the control. More women were made for the inside, and men for the outside world. So then if we move towards the colonial period, then the reforms in women education was seen, as we have seen, as we have found that the this patriarchy just breaking the male domination, where the women, where the education was not allowed for women. So this process was initiated to break this bias or the barrier. And so how can we forget this woman Savitri Bai Phule, who was the most probably the first women teacher, and against so much social repression, criticism, abuse, and all these things, she continued her journey. Then in the post-independent India, when post-independent India emphasized on the upgradation of women's education, girls' education. So I have here given only the picture of Durgabai Deshmukh, but other figures are there. We should not. I mean, lots of other committees and the councils were formed, like Hansa Mehta Committee, Bhaktavatsalam Committee, Durgabai Deshmukh Committee, who worked wonders for promoting the girls and women education, and also how to upgrade the social status of women. But still we have to look up to NEP 2020 or Vikshit Bharat, because after repeated recommendations and repeated suggestions, the status of girls' education and women education was not that much satisfactory. Now, Vikshit, when today's generation knows about the NEP 2020 and Vikshit Bharat, they may think that only at this time only we are thinking about the women empowerment, women education. So early period and the academic disciplines, they don't have any gender, but history or our curriculum have often been selective in projecting the women participation. There are only a countable number of women in history, in geography, in science. So that somehow that ignores or overlooks the silent architects of our Indian knowledge landscape that has been done by the women researchers, scientists, the writers or the entrepreneurs since the ages. So do you remember? So I have given here 3 pictures, and I'd like to elaborate on this slide a bit more, because without positioning the status of women education and empowerment in the modern age, we have to take the help of our rich legacy and rich lineage that our foremothers, 4 sisters had created for us. The first picture is the Naneghat inscription. This is the timeline, almost is 1st century BC. Now, the Naneghat inscription, it is a very foundation document for understanding the female agency in ancient India. It was commissioned by Queen Naganika, or in some versions, she is also called King Nayanika. Actually, she was the wife of the Satavahan ruler, Sataban ruler. And after the death of her husband, Satakarni I, now she became the regent queen because her sons were minor, so she had to take the control over the state. And this Queen Naganika of this Satavahana dynasty, she stands as one of the earliest. This Naneghat inscription, it stands for the one of the earliest recorded instances of a woman exercising significant political and religious authority. Now, this can be from the perspective of women's empowerment, about which we talk very much in modern times. This can be divided into some key pillars. First one is the political regency and administrative authority. Now, Queen Naganika, she was the first woman in Indian history to have managed the affairs of the state as a sovereign entity. And as she successfully played her role as a regent queen of her minor sons. Then the act of this public commissioning of a large-scale rock-cut inscription, about whose picture we can see in this slide, and a statue gallery on the major trade route, that is the Nanighat Pass. This was a profound assertion of her presence and power. And Naganika is the only Satavahana queen to have coins minted in her own name, a rare mark of economic and political sovereignty for a woman in the ancient world. Now, as a creator of religious agency also, this inscription meticulously lists over almost 18 major Vedic sacrifices like Ashwamedha, then the Rajasuya, etc., etc. So here she is also breaking the gender norms because the traditional Brahmanical texts like Manusmriti that often has restricted women's roles in Vedic rituals and public appearances. So here, this inscription explicitly records Queen Naganika's active participation and sponsorship of these grand sacrifices and also her economic independence, because she is recorded in this inscription. The recordings are that how she donated thousands of cows, horses, silver pots to priests and religious persons. So it clearly indicates that she had direct control over the royal treasury and resources. She was not a puppet queen, but she had the active control, and how he tried to exercise her both her political, religious, and economic control over the state. Her presence in the statue gallery, along with her father, her husband, and her sons, that actually make her a very visible presence as a queen mother. Now, by choosing to write the inscription in Prakrit language, whether that was the language of the common people instead of Sanskrit, what was the the language or standard language or the language of the elite. So Naganika ensured her achievements were legible to the traveling merchants and subjects using the trade route. So this is enough talk about that what she has done in first century BC. Now in this, let's move towards the second picture. These are the copper coins issued by Prabhavati Gupta. Now Prabhavati Gupta is another towering figure, and her historical presence uh, represents a sophisticated intersection of diplomacy, land rights, and religious patronship. So, thus marking her as one of the most powerful women of the classical age. Now, ruling almost after 400 years, after Queen Naganika, and Queen Naganika was ruling almost in the southern part of the India, and Prabhavati Gupta belonged to the northern part of India because she was the daughter of Chandragupta II. But her marriage to the Vakataka king Rudrasena II, that was a perfect example master stroke of ancient Indian geopolitics. But the untimely death of her husband also made her the regent queen. Now after the she acted as a, now even after the when she became this after her husband's death, when she became the regent queen, so she also did not prefer to be a puppet queen. So actually after the after her husband's death, we find a very brilliant step of how to merge the Gupta and Vakataka empire or the kingdom, so that was also the cause of the Gupta's expansion towards the Deccan. And following the early death of her husband, Prabhavati Gupta, then she took over the administration, and she effectively managed the state for over 20 years, even when her sons were grown up. She continued to issue charters in her own name. That is a clear sign of her enduring authority. And the Puna copperplate inscription, in which she has recorded about her land grants and her identity and lineage of both from the paternal side and the marital side. And one more thing, that she was a Vaishnavite, where the Vakatakas were very traditionally Shaivites. but she successfully introduced and popularized the Vaishnavism in the Vakataka court also. And she is often associated with the development of the religious complex as Ramtek, which became a significant cultural hub under her patronage. Now, the third picture is uh, it is from the Buddhist uh, age. This is the picture of the book called Theri Gatha. Theri Gatha means Theris, that is the elder nuns of the Vikshunis. Vikshuni Sangha in Buddhist organization. So this is called the verses of the elder nuns. Now, Therigatha is one of the most remarkable and radical texts in modern literature, a part of the Pali canon also. And as a document of women's empowerment, it is significant. Its significance is almost unparalleled because it represents the first known anthology of women's literature in human history. So these are marked by the subjectivity. The theories are projecting themselves as I, neither the daughter or the wife or the mother or any other relations, but rather their subjectivity, strong individuality is there, and they are triumphant declaration of liberation. Almost that they also attained the almost the same spiritual heights as their male counterparts known as theras. Now, this Therigatha is almost can be called a social map of ancient India because the contributors of this Therigatha, they belong to the highborn like Queen Khema, the marginalized like the former sex worker like Ambapali or Amrapali as we call in Bengali, or then the grieving mothers like Patachera, etc., etc. So, Therigatha actually showcases women as philosophers. They don't just only feel, they analyze. The poems use sophisticated metaphors of logic and consistently outweighting the Mara, that is the biggest threat to liberation, uh, personification of temptation or delusion, outweighting him with sharp philosophical rebuttals. So, and it also broke the stereotypical concept of beauty as they shaved their heads and used the robes. So the stereotypical beauty that has been defined, that is defined by the patriarchy, so they even challenged that. Why I am showing this, because that actually connects us with our long and very strong ancient roots, that how we had from north to south, we had across the ages, we had this rich legacy, that how women architects were there, but then came a sharp decline. And here I also like to add that because there was no established agency, or the control under the control. So we are what I'm trying to say, that we are able to name a few, but where the examples could have been innumerable. Now, it has been continued. It has been continued up to the modern age. Because the missing link, we have here on the left side, we have the 15 wonderful women who helped in drafting the constitution to Baba Saheb Ambedkar. But if we constitution is included in our curriculum, but we don't know, maybe one or two names, Sarojini Naidu, Durgabai Deshmukh, or Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, we know we may not all, some of us may know these 2 3 names, but we don't know that how these women, they actively participated in drafting the constitution. And on my right side, hello hello, কেউ কিছু বলছেন নাকি আমাকে?
চল চল দাঁড়া, দেখলাম তো খাবার নিয়ে বসলাম।
আমি সরি, ঠিক বুঝতে পারছি না। Should I continue?
হ্যাঁ করুন, কন্টিনিউ করুন।
হ্যাঁ মানে মাঝখানে কে কি বলে উঠলে আমি ঠিক ফলো করতে পারি না, বা যে আমাকে কেউ কিছু জিজ্ঞাসা করলেন নাকি?
না
Okay,
না
okay,
একদমই না।
okay. Thank you. So on my right side, here are the women scientists. Why I have pasted this picture? Because ki just the fortnights back, on 28th February, we had the National Science Day, and this year the theme was Women in Science Catalyzing Vikshit Bharat. Women in Science. So here are only 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 pictures. That means we had if we ask any class, if we enter any class and ask them ki, can you name any women scientist, I mean I'm sure the 90% or 95% students, they will answer only Marie Curie, and after Mission Mangal maybe Tessie Thomas. But do you know, do they know the entire name of the entire team? Do they know who was Ashima Chatterjee? Do they know who was Dr. Bibha Chaudhary and how she got deprived? Do they know about Dr. Kadambili Ganguly, Anandibai Joshi? Only International Women's Day we get to see these faces or somebody, but these are not actually, we are not institutionalizing the contribution of the women, so that is the missing link. That has started from the ancient India, but that what I am trying to say, that we have a very rich legacy, we have a very rich lineage of the women participation, and that's why we need this. The vision of Vikshit Bharat is doing that thing, or NEP 20 is just doing that thing, the bringing that legacy back to us, which we can claim proudly. Now how to redefine this empowerment from the context of NEP 2020 or Vikshit Bharat? So I have given some of the historical examples from which we can know that either there is the historical grievances that this has not been recorded, we did not know that curriculum was a very they were biased or like this, or we had the vague promises that okay fine, the women will get this, the women teachers will be getting this, the girl children will be getting this. So, and most of the promises were not that way fulfilled, otherwise we would not have been sitting here and talking about all these things. Now how to bridge this history to action? But history has given us the evidence that empowerment was there, and very high kind of empowerment. So how to now bridge this history to action gap? How to minimize the gap? How to close the gap? Now, vision of Vikshit Bharat is the roadmap how to transform India into a completely developed nation by the 100th anniversary of its independence. Now, sustainable development goals, at least the goal number 4 and 5, which is on quality education and gender equality, are directly linked with Vikshit Bharat. So, for decades, policy focused on women's development, where women were treated as a passive beneficiary, that this is for the upliftment of women, this is for the good or welfare for women, so they get benefit from this, to the Vikshit Bharat. But Vikshit Bharat did that actually transforms it, wants to transform it rather to women-led development, where women are the active leaders, active agents of the growth. So they are already capable and driven. So they don't need any, they are always powerful. But what is needed? The scaffolding. So who can provide that scaffolding? The policy, digital access, and safety. So if we look at the Vikshit Bharat network, this is a Gyan network where G stands for the Garib, that is the poor. Y stands for the Yuba, that is the youth. N for Nari, that is women. Y, GYA. A for Annadata, that is farmers, and N for Nari, that is women. So if we look at it closely, then we find that Nari, N, is constant in all these 4 pillars. Nari is in, they belong to the poor group, they belong to the youth group, they belong to the Annadata group, and they of course they are in the women group. Now this welfare to leadership. Now the role, the transformation, what the time demands, that is we should switch, or now we should move from the women should move from the beneficiaries to leadership, and from grassroots to global. It is not enough that self-help groups are there or a self-help group is working well, but we want to see them in the global boardrooms. And digital democracy should be ensured for all. So from access to innovation of agency, it's not only that we have the access to education, we have the access to work, we have the access to I mean the financing and all these things. How we can create this innovation of agency, that is the thing that Vikshit Bharat wants to emphasize. So Vikshit Bharat is so the women education on empowerment is not to ensure about the literacy only, but it's all about the competitiveness and contribution, and how these are linked with the SDGs, that at least the goal 4 and 5 that I have just talked to. And what's happening? A second. So what is a developed India? Developed India is not about the GDP, but it's a high level of dignity also, or prosperity. So economic prosperity for the world's fourth largest economy, the social equity, so that the zero poverty and 100% access to quality healthcare, education, then the world-class digital and physical connectivity with a focus on sustainable green energy by infrastructure and innovation, and also ease of living, that every citizen, what I was saying at the beginning, that if we do something for women, that is actually then the outcome that we get, that is not delimited for the women, that becomes for the human beings. That's why this year the theme of International Women, the global campaign theme I'm talking about, the International Women's Day was Give to Gain. So far we were looking at the scarcity model. So from the scarcity model, we are now moving towards the abundance model, the give to gain. What? So see how the narrative, if we change the narratives and the perspectives, so everything becomes so easier and so beautiful. So, and if abundance is created, that is not only for the women will be tasting the fruit of the abundance, the entire human civilization will be tasting the fruit of that, uh, I mean the abundance. Now the paradigm shift, that uh, how the shift is going to take place. So we can divide that in three pillars. First, that from social welfare or beneficiary model to the economic agency. Second one is the skilling for the future, where AI, data science, green energy. So they should be women should be at the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution, and the safety and dignity. So how to create this fear-free ecosystem through POSH Act, 19-digit helpline integration. These are there. My intention is not to just pile up the informations on what policies are there, but how I'm trying to just show, or I'm trying to present that how these policies can work. I'm not going to talk all the policies because these are available in the books, these are available in the government gadgets. So I'm trying to locate the the our rich legacy, and at the same time how we can proceed further. So, from the beneficiary model to the economic agency model, so the programs that the government has launched, central government, like the Lakpati Didi or the Mudra Yojana. So, women are transforming from job seekers to job creators, Lakpati Didi. So, these are mainly starting from the grassroots level. So the Niti Aayog almost estimates that it could create almost 150 million jobs, fundamentally altering the rural economic landscape. Or the Nari Shakti Bandhan Abhiyanam, so 33% reservation ensures. So women are not just asking for rights, but writing the laws. They are not asking for rights. And this year, when I was going to the UN report for the International Women's Day, so we find that the a survey based on 676 millions of women. So we find that only 64% can access may have access to the law. In many cases they cannot even reach to the law. They are suppressed, they are misguided, they are threatened, and all these things. So how we can claim the theme that right justice action for all women and girls. So research has already shows that women led local governments that prioritize health, water, education more effectively. That is needed for Vikshit Bharat. Now, skills regarding so STEM, uh, uh, the science, technology, then engineering and mathematics. So here the schemes like WISE, Kiran or Gati, they support the women in science, technology, and the role of digital India. So how to bridge the gap between the rural, urban, or gender digital, this dichotomy or divide, and then how to proceed from STEM to STEAM. STEM means where we are adding two more A's like arts and agency also. And regarding the fear-free ecosystem, so fear-free ecosystem is a non-negotiable foundation of Vikshit Bharat. If women are they always they live or work under a fearful ecosystem, so naturally the we will be losing the potential from them. Now, single window emergency response, that is 112 181 helpline number. Then the She Box 2.0 portal, workplace harassment, then safe city projects, the menstrual health and hygiene as a fundamental right as per ensured in our Article 21. So these are some of the ways how we can uh, exercise the paradigm shift. Now, so far when we were talking about this, we find so fine we are advancing, but there are some also challenges. The R is all good, that from women's development to women development. So four very provocative questions that comes up on the shift of the on the shift in agency, that uh, how we ensure that this is not a linguistic shift, that women's led development or women led, it's only the literary jargons or linguistic, the jugglery that we are playing with, or a structure, really it is a structural one where women really hold the purse strings and decision making power in the economy. Women are the producers and they are very capable, powerful producers of the economy. But how they can, are they really, I mean, holding the key to the finance or economy? On the digital social divide also, the does this risk creates a new form of social stratification among women between the rural or the urban, or the digitally literate, digitally not so literate. So are these another mask of, the benign mask of patriarchy that we are going to face? Or then what modern regressive norms that we have to unlearn today to reach out to the 2047 goals? So there are lots of, we have to unlearn the lots of epiphanies. So what are actually the those modern regressive forms? And on the global blueprint also, can the Indian models of grassroots education to entrepreneurs like Lakpati Didi, Drone Didi, etc., really they are going to serve as a global blueprint for other nations also, at least in the global south? These are the questions, some provocative questions. Now, the uh, here there is some metrics that what is the current status to I mean 24-26, and what is the vision for 2047 for us. Now, female workplace participation right now is almost 37 to 40%. That is expected to rise up to 70%. Gross enrollment ratio in higher education is 28%. That is expected to rise up to 50%. And STEM graduates, there's very wonderful thing that India is doing, of course. The 43% they are producing. So, and vision is that they will be creating the global leadership. Now, so what are the shift? The in 60s, 80s, female women education was often viewed as a social finishing, studying humanities, arts. If we look at the Radhakrishnan Commission, Mudalia Commission, Kothari, up to Kothari Commission recommendation, then first National Commission for Women and the rest of the this Bhakta Vatsalam Committee, Hansa Mehta Committee, Durgabai Deshmukh Committee, they started doing that, started demanding that the equal curriculum for there will be no gender bias in the curriculum. But before that, the women for the humanities, cooking, home science, art, etc., science or technical subjects, so these were not much encouraged. So we all know how, what kind of, the social, uh, uh, I mean the social uh, barriers, or the psychological trauma that Kadambini Ganguly had to undergo because she was a woman. She was not a man. So, and studying humanities or arts, these are mainly to improve the social or the marriage prospects. Now, the data shift, now we see the massive migration towards functional and professional degrees. Not only the this kind of degrees, but also the how they are equipping, women are equipping themselves towards the more functional professional degrees. And in medical healthcare, in STEM also, we have seen a sharp rise in admission or enrollment, and in management also we have seen a very high increase. But there is a leaky pipeline also, the STEM paradox. STEM paradox, yes. When we say that 43% STEM graduates India has produced, that has almost surpassed the developed nations like UK. When UK has the 26% STEM graduates, US has 34% STEM graduates. There, India has the 43% STEM graduates. But where is that leakage in the pipeline? That only of 27% of this 43%, they currently enter the formal STEM workplace. They may enter the workplace that is not the STEM workplace. Vikshit Bharat wants to focus on this transition from the classroom to the laboratory. If you are a STEM graduate, then you should only you then the workplace, the proper STEM workplace will be for you, and you will not be compromising with that. So how this leaky pipeline can be repaired? Now, a dual challenges for Vikshit Bharat is navigating structural and behavioral barriers. Policies are there, policies were always there. But how to overcome the structural or the behavioral barriers? So there are two, this urban or rural part I have tried to address because time is not that much. So urban challenges, women are facing glass ceiling and time poverty. So high education but low workforce retention. Then the motherhood penalty. That is a very important factor. That motherhood penalty once you become a mother. So in some organizations, so they prefer not to appoint the expecting mothers, or they ask what is your plan or this, and even in our state also child care leave is there, but only the working mothers know. If there is a shortage of staff in the department, how woman has to struggle, fight, and how they had to have this trauma of not getting the leave when the child needs the mother the most. And I have also suffered it. So the professional attrition, the quality of life and work life integration, how to balance the work and life. And so what is the 2047 goal? Transforming urban workplace into gender neutral ecosystem. That is the flexible work, the creche facilities where the mother has not to leave the child back at home, or mother has to take the either or decision, either work or child, at the safe late night transport, etc., etc. Whereas the urban women are facing the challenge of glass ceiling and time poverty, the rural women, they are facing the challenge of the sticky flow and the digital divide. So the labor intensive work, the women, rural women, but maximum they give their labor in the subsistence kind of farming. But when after the harvest, they have a very hardly, they seldom have the control over the economy or the financing related decisions. So female labor force participants are often higher than urban, it's right. But it is largely in the informal sector with very low pay. So the gender and payment, that is a permanent problem. So challenges about access and skilling. What is the goal? 2000 Vikshit Bharat goal. Now moving rural women from manual labor to digital entrepreneurship via the programs like Lakhpati Didi or the Drone Didi program. So where the agricultural women, they can exercise their entrepreneurship and they can
take the control of the finance, of the decision making, and their so they I mean their effort is formally acknowledged. So, what are the primary, the urban focus and the rural focus, if we just make a vis-a-vis kind of thing. So, the primary barrier in case of the urban women, this is a work-life control or glass ceiling, where the rural case, this is the digital divide or the sticky floor. In a sticky floor, you cannot move fast. So, women of the rural area, they suffer from this sticky floor metaphor. Educational goal is the STEM specialization and also the workplace, STEM workplace also. And rural focus is vocational skilling or financial literacy. Now, who act as the key enabler in urban focus? That is the corporate policy, flexibility, childcare, creche facility, safe transportation, etc., etc. And rural focus, self-help groups or a micro credit. Our what is the vision of 2047? That women in boardrooms and tech labs, where in rural focus, women as the agri-tech or drone experts. Now, Nari Shakti as a catalyst. So, some of the policy pillars I have tried. I have already said that I'm not here to talk about only the policies which are available in the gadgets. So I'm just trying to make the segments of the four pillars of the policy. First one on the access and equity. Second one is the STEM and frontiers of knowledge. Third one is the economic empowerment. And fourth one is the pedagogical leadership. So access and equity, the inclusion mandate, NEP 22, that talks about the gender inclusion fund, special education zones, and Kastuba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, through which we can exercise the access and equity. I mean, we can get closure to that. And STEM and frontiers of the knowledge, so closing the gender gap in STEM, in IITs and NITs, where female enrollment has been doubled. That is a very good sign. The Wise Kiran and Vigyan Jyoti for women researchers, and digital Saksharata. And economic empowerment, so the financial agency, vocational integration, then the self-help group come education link like Lakpati Didi, Drone Didi, Mudra Yojana, for financial literacy. And pedagogical leadership, how we can exercise and promote the gender sensitive pedagogy, gender responsive education, then mentorship, that is how to develop the leadership capacity, and research focus. Here I would like to add one thing, that is that some when we talk about the gender sensitive pedagogy, in most of the institutions or most of the most of the, we find that they are still, we are still thinking in perspective of the binaries. What about the tritiya prakriti, that beyond the binaries? So tritiya prakriti, how to facilitate them, how to how to include them, how to encourage them to get included in the mainstream development programs. That is also that should be our one of our chief concern. So if we look at the Vikshit Bharat model, so this model is a 5-tier model. So in the first tier, so from being mere consumers of technology to creators. So this is the motto. Then establishing Nari Shakti incubation centers within HEIs for women-led startups in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and Tritiya Prakriti incubation centers also. In tier 2, we should ensure the multiple entry exit as a safety net, because ki women, they have this always this nurturing and working, mother and professional, they have to face this binaries. So utilizing the academic bank of credit so that the pause and resume may be followed, where the women, very skilled and very efficient worker women, they can have this pause and resume if the academic bank of credits are ensured for her. And using the gender inclusion fund, not for the only the just we are giving them bicycles just to come to the school, or for transportation, or we are making the separate toilets, but are we gender inclusion fund should be on spending on innovative research projects on how to encourage them to think beyond the classroom, to think big also, and how to reduce the dropouts by making education a non-linear process. So that's why the online or the virtual kind of courses that are gaining more momentum, and that should be more that should be encouraged also. And exit and re-entry with grace. That means ki if 1 year, so you'll get a certificate. 2 year, maybe uh, a diploma. 3 years, so degree. That's the in all kinds of. So it's not that a dropout. So you have nothing at your hand. So that should be the thing. The third tier, we are addressing the Tritiya Prakriti gap, moving the this gender inclusion fund beyond the subsidies towards investments, and how to use the Indian knowledge system to know the historical perspective to reduce the 90% dropout rate due to the social stigma, maybe because when gender inclusion fund is making the separate toilets for girls, at least girls can use that. But what about the third gender people? Where should they go? They can use neither the unless they become the transsexuals, they can use neither the male washrooms or the female washrooms. So that should be a gender inclusive kind of toilets, and the all the other staff rooms where there is a gender binaries are there, and how to utilize this purple economy, which can be a very robust and healthy source of our economic growth. Then the fourth tier, যাদের অডিওটা একটু আনমিউট আছে, কাইন্ডলি একটু মিউট করবেন। অনেকের মনে হয় আনমিউট রয়ে গেছে। ক্যান ইউ প্লিজ মিউট দ্যাট? So in the fourth tier, we find that transitioning, how we can transforming the campus infrastructure to include gender neutral housing and restrooms. I have already talked about it, and how we can promote multidisciplinary and holistic education. So if we can ensure all this, then of course we will be reaching gracefully to claim the, yes, we have fulfilled the mission and the vision of Vikshit Bharat. Now, vision is the total human potential. So, what are the areas, and what is the current things, and what is the 2047 innovation vision? So, participation, right now, low female labor force participation. So, it is expecting 50% plus with 10% representation of Tritiya Prakriti in leadership. In research, right, still mostly these are gender blind research, but we are expecting that this is a gender responsive research. So every innovation is vetted for its impact on all genders. And in leadership, we are facing either glass ceilings or sticky floor, but now we can we are aiming at circular leadership, where the even the Tritiya Prakritis are included, and how women-led climate and social policies can usher us to a new beginning or new hope. Now, educational policy mapping, NEP 2020 and action. What are the recent things that I would like to show? That is, what were the challenges: physical access, financial barriers, safety, dignity, and identity crisis. So NEP 2020 policy mechanism, what has been done to this? In physical access, gender inclusion fund, this has been done. Now 26/7 implementer status, like a budget and all these things. So girls hostel every single district to reduce this dropouts or like this. Then financial barriers, to overcome that, NEP 2020 policy has talked about the, and it ensures the PM Vidyalakshmi or targeted scholarships for various categories. Now this is increased outlays. What we have achieved: increased outlays for Wise Kiran and to support female researchers. In safety dignity, we have the Mission Shakti or Sambal, and it's an expansion of one-stop centers and 24/7 helpline integrated with university campuses. In identity crisis, we had the inclusion of Tritiya Prakriti in SDG, I mean the social and economic in disadvantaged groups. But now it's a mandatory self-ID in academic bank of credits to support the non-binary students also to utilize their potential to the fullest, to the optimum possible level. So what is the now innovation roadmap for 2047? So the She Marts are entrepreneurship bridge, like the policy is the moving beyond self-help groups to market-facing enterprises. So the innovation talks about the 2026 budget that has introduced the She Marts, actually the community-owned retail outlets. And for 2047, the goal is to turn Lakpati Didis to global entrepreneurs by providing them with all possible skills or training or, export-oriented training. So now from STEM to deep tech inclusion, the policies that um, already there is a sharp increase by 20% we see in IITs and IITs, but its innovation is that the biopharma Shakti and the drone Didi schemes, and so thus we can ensure for our Vikshit Bharat mission that women and the Tritiya Prakriti are not just workers, but they are the intellectual property owners in AI, robotics, and green energy field. Now, institutional multidisciplinary mapping. So the MERU, that is the multidisciplinary education and research universities. So there, the innovation will be that allowing even with the women, also the Tritiya Prakriti scholars to conduct research that bridges actually the IKS with modern gender studies. Now I'd like to go for the call to action. Call to action is that while 26 or 26/7 budget that focuses on hostels for women in STEM, so third gender community still faces a 50% to 90% dropouts rate due to lack of safe social spaces and environments. So we need hubs that provide both psychological safety and technical incubation. So this is actually...
Sorry, madam, I am interrupting. Please you make it short.
Sir, this is the last slide.
Okay.
So these are the call to action. So I'm minimizing that. From for educators is a shift from rote to STEM. For policymakers, so how to utilize the gender inclusion fund to start up seed capital, not just subsidies. For institutions, how we can establish the dignity audits to measure a safety and inclusion of Tritiya Prakriti students also, and gender neutral audit for all NEP funded research. So through which we can get this outcome that Vikshit Bharat is a destination of dignity. So thank you for your patient hearing. I'm sorry if I have taken much time. Anyway, I rest my talk here.
Okay, thank you, madam. So now I am requesting Professor Poonam Agrawal to share her observation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sahab. I am very much impressed by the format of the program. Started with nice music, and also the way this trust, the RBRI trust, is working. A lot of things they are doing, and their logo is also having a very deep meaning, which was very beautifully presented. So I thank Dr. Debdulal Dattaji, the founder, president of Trust, for inviting me here and giving me a chance to know so much about this trust, which is working so well. And as I see that this is the 109th webinar, so that means that they are doing quite a lot, and regularity is also maintained in what they are doing. So many congratulations and best wishes for more such activities to the trust. Dr. Rituparna ji has given a very, very rich talk, has taken us on a long, rich journey of women's status, development, and then also has shown some path to how we achieve what we need to achieve in the Vikshit Bharat mission of India. She has very rightly said that women empowerment is not a destination. Definitely not. It is not a destination. It is not something to be achieved at one time, but it is a continuous journey. We have to assess and explore and keep inventing and reinventing as to how we define and redefine our goals, and women's contribution as equal partners in national development is ensured by harnessing their full potential. Definitely, because the women and girls constitute nearly half of the population, and if we want to become a developed nation, naturally we cannot leave such a large segment of the and very potential segment of the population behind. They have to be equal, and they have to be empowered, and they have to be empowered in the true sense, in the real sense, not something that is there in the data, or not something which is there in the reports, but which shows in the society, which shows in their lives. That sort of empowerment has to be there. She has also raised a very correct concern that when we talk of education, how much these women are visible in our curricula, in what we are teaching to the young generation, their contributions, where even in the ancient time, the women who got to rule because of certain happenings, maybe the husband died, or whatever, but these were not just the rubber stamps. They were really very authoritative women who crafted the future of the country, or whatever they led as the queens. So the curricula has to reflect these women, and also the women who crafted our constitution, the women who contributed in the innovations. All these have to be reflected in the curricula. And she has also touched upon the third gender, what she called the transgender persons. Now we also have the Transgender Persons Act, which has been promulgated, and which calls about the inclusive education. And when we talk about the national education policy, we see that this time the NEP 2020 has given a very broad definition of ACDGs, the disadvantaged groups, and they have for the first time included various kind of gender identities into the loop, including the transgender persons. So whatever provisions are there for the ACDGs, these are for various gender identities, including the girls and including the transgender persons. So policy is a kind of a stepping stone, a kind of a framework which is there, and the implementers, the persons who are at the helm of affairs in the education, in the empowerment, in the skill development, in giving the jobs to the people, they have to interpret the things in the policy which are there. These are the indications. We have to harness what is given in the policy for the benefit of the groups that need to be benefited, be these girls or be these transgenders. uh, I would like to mention some of the things which some of these have also been indicated by Ritu Parnaji in her presentation, that what is actually the status uh, of women. We talk about empowerment. Yes, the policies have had a shift from welfare to development, and development to empowerment, equality, equity, and all that. But still, if we see the reality, the labor force participation rate for females is still very low, and we are talking of the Viksit Bharat. If we see various developed countries, even China or Japan, we see that their female labor participation rate is much higher as compared to India. Although one happy thing is that our rate of female participation in labor is on the rising trend, while of other countries, many other countries, it is in the declining trend. This also has a bearing that India is a young nation. But at that another thing of concern is that the women, that the type of jobs in which women are, these are mostly low paid and those in the informal sector. The data shows that much of the income is earned by the males, and women are not are earning hardly one third of the income that is being earned. So that shows that they are not in a very secure, very decent jobs. The jobs are low paid and there is no security. So this is a cause of concern. Also, what I would like to mention, in fact, focus upon is that if we see the gender parity index, where we stand in the globally in the gender parity index, our rank is 131 among the 148 countries in 2025, and it has even fallen a little bit from 2024. Although we can be happy that as far as education is concerned, we have achieved quite of equality. The gender parity is there. In case of education, the gender parity is more than 97%. So if we talk about enrollment, if we talk of retention, if we talk of participation, completion cycle, and even gender parity in STEM and such type of subjects like physics and engineering is also much better now with time because of the government incentives and also the social awareness. We have really come much ahead as far as education is concerned. But this is not being reflected in reality in the society. If we see, this is mostly because India has been a patriarchal country, and the roots of patriarchy are so deep that even in modern times, we have not really come out of the kind of living that was there in the patriarchal times. Even now, if we see, all kind of domestic work, all kind of child care work, all kind of caregiving work is all the responsibility of the women. So what's happening if they are coming out, they are taking various responsible jobs, still whatever were their traditional jobs, the codes, they still remain with them. So women are being burdened and overburdened, and they are getting stressed, and that is not the kind of empowerment or equality that the society would be wanting. The national sample survey offline shows that men are spending less than 1.5 hours a day in any kind of a domestic chore, while the women are spending 7 hours or more in their domestic responsibilities. So I attribute this to attitudinal changes that are required in the society. And the society is still, from the point of gender, they are still having very stereotypical beliefs and behavior expectations. Still, all the kind of caregiving jobs are thought to be done by the women, and all the jobs or the posts that are having any kind of authority or decision making or making an impact, they are all thought to be done by the men. I would like to narrate an experience when I was in NCERT and we were holding a training program for the educators. Um, we announced that in the afternoon session, a judge will be coming and will be taking a session on law. So when the judge came in the session, this judge was a female. So the participants who were all educated, they themselves were the educators. they frankly admitted that, oh, it was really very new for us, because when you announced that there will be a judge coming in the afternoon session, we perceived the judge to be a male. So this shows our stereotypical attitudes, which are still very, very deep rooted in the society. And these have to be overcome. These attitudinal change has to be brought. And in that, of course, from various facets, we have to hit upon these stereotypical behavior and stereotypical attitude, stereotypical expectations from the women. Education, of course, can play a very, very important role. The language that we use in the educational material and also otherwise in the society, in media or elsewhere, we see that most of the times in India, I still see that women are linguistically invisible. The way we frame our sentences, the way we address, we are still sticking to chairman kind of thing. And he, whenever they say he, they think that women are already there in if they are having a masculine kind of address. But actually it is reverse. If you see that she contains he and the woman contains men, but when we do reverse, we don't feel anything unusual about it, because it is already there from our patriarchal times. If we want to do something, it is not difficult. We see that overnight in cricket, they change many words to take it to a gender neutral expression. For example, batsman was overnight changed to batter, and the cricket commenters are not now using batters. Some Indian commenters might be using batsmen, but otherwise not. Similarly, the man of the match is now changed to the player of the match. So the things can be changed if there is a will, and the type of language that we use, we should be very attentive to. The curriculum, of course, Ritu Parnaji also mentioned that we are not really mentioning the contributions of women in our curricula. The contributions are there in every spheres, be these in history or literature, to the innovations. So many innovations are being done by women and people even don't know about it. For example, the life-saving jacket, bulletproof jacket is innovated by a woman. The chips for the computer, which are being used everywhere now, these were invented by a woman. But we are not bringing forth these contributions to the younger generation, so that they know that women are not the passive participants in innovations and development, but they are very, very innovative participants. So all these things we have to bring to the forefront. There are many things which can be said, but I don't know how much time I have. Maybe the time is already running out. So maybe in some other time, in some other session, I will talk more. But as I said, that in the National Education Policy 2020, this time many more things have been mentioned. For example, the character building, a kind of ethos, a kind of culture in the educational institutions, in which the younger generation takes the responsibility to build a society which is responsible towards even the most vulnerable sections of our society, be these transgenders or be different other gender identities. So the young generation should be such which is able to caution the disparities based on gender and other things, and should be actively participating in reforms. Uh, Ritu Parnaji mentioned about the Gender Inclusion Fund, which is there, the possibility is there. But of course, this is not for making the toilets or things, because these provisions are already there in the government and the separate funds are there. These funds, again, it depends, like the fund is there, but it depends on the end users, how they are using this fund. They can use it maybe for making toilets or something for the girls. But actually, these funds are there to enable the states to support and scale up the innovations, whatever will be good for the local at the local level, to make inclusion a reality. Another thing that I would just briefly like to mention is that what we want to propagate is the functional empowerment. I call it a functional empowerment because we have to question whether educating the women is empowering the women, whether if they have some kind of economical independence, are they really empowerment? Are they really empowered? If even after being educated, if even after having a little bit of economic empowerment, they are not able to take their decisions, if they are still dependent on taking decisions on other persons, or if they are still expected to be in passive roles, still expected to be doing the domestic roles first and any other thing later, then it is not really a functional empowerment. I would like to mention, just yesterday there was a very heartening verdict from the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court has said that if when a person gets married, you have a wife not as a replacement of a maid. You have a wife as a life partner. Therefore, you cannot expect the wife to be doing all the household chores. And if she is not doing those household chores of cleaning, cooking, or taking care of the people, you cannot say it is any kind of cruelty or negligence, because wife is a life partner. She is not a maid. So we have to bring this awareness, in enlightenment in the society, that women are the equal partners. They must be respected to take their own decisions for the family, decisions for the nation, and they should be taken as equal partners in the development. And only when they can really be able to exercise their rights, take the decisions, will be in authoritative roles, then only we can say that they are really empowered. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for highlighting the conditioning by stereotype. That is the thing Rabindranath Tagore has tried to remove, this type of stereotype ideas on the woman. And during his time, he felicitated, and I like to say the facilitator also, many women to track out from the stereotype ideas. So our Rabindranath Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust is also following the same model. So thank you, madam. Now I am requesting Professor Navratan Sharma to share the observation.
My humble pranam to all of you. First of all, I congratulate the RPRIT, Ravindric Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, for organizing the series of Sunday webinars. In this series, it is 109th, and you, being the founder president, Dr. Datta Roy, is taking it through various disciplines and different topics of common as well as scientific flavor. I must at this point confess that Dr. Debu Datta Roy used to known to me as psychometrician, as statistician, and I know him full dedicated worker for these social as well as academic platforms since last more than 20 years. This is the time to remember great poet Rabindranath Tagore ji. And Dr. Roy, if you remember, you explained and you sang a song for me, Ekla Chalo Re, in Ahmedabad when we were roommates. You explained And I feel that when you start walking, even if you are alone, and if you are a good cause, people will follow you. My expression of gratitude to you for such kind of wonderful work at your place. Today's topic, the architecting Vikshit Bharat, the chair, Professor Poonam Agarwal, speaker, Dr. Rituparna Das Gupta, and the program coordinator, Farah. The program has been devised in a very scientific way, just like a seminar being conducted in the physical mode.
Thank you.
The aspect which I am to take little bit in the last leg of this academic session is upskill the life skills of women for architecting the goals of Vikshit Bharat 2047. Although after the talk of Dr. Rituparna, it is rather very exhaustive. Putting the ocean in the vessel, I compliment Dr. Rituparna for putting from the before century to the 2047, all the goals, the different aspects, not only related to the women empowerment, but rather also propagating how we can make the things better for the human being. She said, woman to human, and that has to be the pathway. But I also feel that if we are not able to put the life skills in our core curriculum, that too in our school levels, NEP 2020 has also advocated putting all these life skills in that senior secondary levels. These life skills, I believe, three clusters: thinking skills, social skills, and emotional skills. I will mention that all these skills are very much available. Some inherent aspect or quotient is there. But while putting their education, to convert the education into skill-based education, we need to develop these skills. I am asserting this on the basis of a few of our researches, where we conducted first research was to check the behavioral problems of the adolescents. When we conducted this study, we identified different domains of behavioral problems. And later on, we took the special groups and we have given them the guidance, counseling, and psychoeducation to reduce the behavioral problems. But during that research, it was observed that when you put the students of any gender, maybe male or female, they feel discriminated, that they also feel bad that why we have been identified in that separate group. And although our strategy of psychoeducation and a guidance and counseling program improved the behavioral aspect of the adolescents, but during their feedback and during their narrations, we could understand that particularly girls, they were very sensitive about those issues. When we asked them, you come to separately to discuss your behavioral issues. Then at the second part of the research, we decided not to talk about those behavioral issues directly. Rather, we will discuss the skills. We will discuss what is present in the positive form. And we feel that by doing some skill development program, the behavioral aspects which are troubling will automatically will be taken care by these skills. These skills, particularly the thinking skill, self-awareness. When we know ourselves, When I know my strength, then I can work upon better. My decisions will be better, and I will be able to solve the problems. So critical thinking as well as critical thinking alongside the problem solving, decision making will make us more aware about the self. Same time, the social skills where we have the effective communication with each other, we are able to converse, we are able to understand, it is also very important. And empathy, in psychology, we understand the role of empathy in making out things better in the social life. Interpersonal relations, it goes without saying that the importance of interpersonal relations in the day-to-day life is very important, and if we are able to maintain these interpersonal relations, we are maintaining our quality of life. Our mental health is intact. Similarly, if you talk about the emotional skills take care of the coping with the emotions and coping with the stress will be there in life. Life without stress cannot be imagined, but we need to see that how this stress or how the emotions can be managed. So we have to work upon these life skills, and particularly if the girls are taken care at the level of senior secondary classes, we shall be certainly making or converting them to full-fledged functional person where they can not only empower themselves but also they can help others to empower. You see, the empowered movement does not mean the disarming the others. Empowering women is to make the society fully functional, and that is why equality, equity, and justice we need to take care. Equality may be there, but by putting equal opportunity does not guarantee that the all things have been taken care. If we are not able to remove the barriers in the empowerment, if we are not able to deliver the justice, then we cannot imagine full empowerment. Even Dr. Ritupurna Das mentioned about the glass ceiling and motherhood penalty. I understand that these are the concepts which have been researched adequately in psychology also, and there has to be some strategy where the sticky floor has to be made the floor of smooth running for both the gender. See, very beautifully also mentioned the third gender, because the inclusiveness of that gender cannot bring the gyan adequately. Gyans means the pillars of the Vikshit Bharat, the Garib, the Yuva, Nari, or Andata. And very rightly she said that in all these four pillars, woman is the common factor. So if we talk about that part, if the girls' education, girls' you can say health is taken care, we can take care of the entire global aspect of putting the things in a better way. Chair Professor Poonam Agarwal also talk about the taking everyone together, because if we talk about women empowerment, it cannot be achieved without the active support of the men, and the gender parity index she mentioned, we need to improve upon that because the activities, the justice, and the attitudinal change, lastly mentioned by Dr. Agarwal, will go great way to achieve the goals of Vikshit Bharat. Dr. Datta Roy, I really appreciate and express my thanks for giving me this chance. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Navratan. You have rightly pointed out that is the life skill is very, very important for the architecturing the Vikshit Bharat model. And I hope in near future, we will do on this work. We have started work, that is the value system. We have identified 14 path-oriented and 14 goal-oriented Ravindric value systems, and now we have done a lot of the research on this area. So that is also related to the life skill. Professor Dasgupta, Madam, would you like to say something based upon the chairperson and co-chairpersons? Hello, Madam, you are not audible.
Sorry. No, not actually. I don't want to talk much on it because due to the paucity of time, I had to conclude earlier. And the part that I have missed unintentionally, that has beautifully been pointed out by both Madam and Sir. So, and this is a common observation that we all agree what we have said. There is no point of argument or any difference of opinion. This can be more added and added and added because so much to be talked, so much to be rectified, and so much to be reformed. So we can only talk on that. But talking without action, this is not called for an action. So we have to act upon that.
Yes, thank you, Madam. We have to act upon that. So, dear audience, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I will request Farah for the vote of thanks, because already we have covered the time. So, Farah, are you here?
Yes, sir.
So, Farah, please give the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay. So, on behalf of Rabindic Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed guest for making this webinar truly enriching. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Ritupurna Basak Das Gupta for her highly informative and thought-provoking presentation. Her work on education and empowerment provided meaningful direction to today's theme. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our chairperson, Professor Poonam Agarwal, for her distinguished presence and for bringing her vast experience in academic and gender studies perspectives to guide this session. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to our co-chairperson, Professor Navratna Sharma, for his valuable insights and academic leadership, which added depth to the discussion. I would also like to thank all participants for their active engagement and thoughtful presence. Finally, I extend my appreciation to the entire RPRIT team for their efforts in organizing this webinar. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.
Okay, so here I like to make one correction. Professor Poonam Agrawal, okay, not Agarwal. So please, that is the correction I like to add. Now, Rima, so please you give one Rabindra Sangit, please you play one Rabindra Sangit. Rima, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Please play one Rabindra Sangit. This is the
কোন
platform through
আলোতে
which we have.
প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো, কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো, সাধক গো প্রেমিক গো পাগল গো ধরায় আসো, কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো, এই অকুল সংসারে দুঃখ আঘাত তোমার প্রাণের বিনা ঝংকারে, ঘোর বিপদ মাঝে কোন জননীর মুখে হাসি দেখিয়া হাসো, কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো। তুমি কাহার সন্ধানে সকল সুখের আগুন জেলে বেড়াও কে জানে। তুমি কাহার সন্ধানে সকল সুখে আগুন জেলে বেড়াও কে জানে। এমন ব্যাকুল করে কে তোমারে কাঁদায় যারে ভালোবাসো, কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো। তোমার ভাবনা কিছু নাই, কে যে তোমার সাথের সাথী ভাবি মনে তাই। তোমার ভাবনা কিছু নাই, কে যে তোমার সাথের সাথী ভাবি মনে তাই। তুমি মরণ ভুলে কোন অনন্ত প্রাণ সাগরে আনন্দে ভাসো, কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো। সাধক গো প্রেমিক গো পাগল গো ধরায় আসো, কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো। প্রণাম
Thank you, Rima.
সবাই।
Thank you, Rima. Very
থ্যাংক ইউ
true.
স্যার।
কোন আলোতে প্রাণের প্রদীপ জ্বালিয়ে তুমি ধরায় আসো. So that is the planning of Vikshit Bharat model. Okay. And
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, সবাই আমার প্রণাম নেবেন, সবাইকে অনেক অনেক রেসপেক্ট। স্যার
now I
আরো
am
পথ
requesting,
দেখাবেন
sure. Now
আপনার
I am
দেয়া পথ
requesting all of
যেন
you,
স্যার
please,
এগিয়ে যেতে পারি। থ্যাংক
please
ইউ
close
স্যার।
your hands for the prayer, conclusion prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Professor Poonam Agrawal and Nabratan. Hope in near future for another occasion we will find you and you will give your valuable suggestions for the development of our PRIT. We depend upon your observations. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, and my best wishes to all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ এভরিবডি, থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।